Okay, hey everybody, what's up? Welcome. Hey.
Oh, we're just in the post Oscars glow. I mean, we're not in the industry, I would say, but we're definitely adjacent to it.
We are adjacent to the industry. This year feels extra special for me and Steven. I just feel like a glow from within. I
Yeah,
feel
I feel like a little puppeteer. I feel like a
yeah.
little Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, like we're two orchestra leaders. What's the word? We're maestros. Maestros.
Yeah, hard to get your mouth around that
We're
word.
we've it feels like we just conducted a symphony of Jamie Lee Curtis films.
Yeah. It's like we put a 2-year plan into action and we didn't know what the plan was and we didn't know what the results would be.
And they're better than we could have ever imagined. Did you think this would happen? Not me.
If you would have told me 2 years ago that the Jamie Lee Curtis would have an Academy Award, I would have said honorary or did she get it on eBay? Because there's no way that she was going to get it for acting. True Lies already came out. She wasn't going to get it for acting.
Yeah, and we know you can't get a retroactive Academy
You
Award.
can't get no. I mean,
We've
if
looked
it was,
into it.
Game over for everyone. Cameron Diaz is
Cameron
getting one
Diaz
every
wins.
year forever for Night and Day.
Yeah.
So
So I feel like I'm waking up from like a dream come true almost. Like this is like a fever dream. This is
yeah, but it's also like that. It's also like, okay, we've crossed this item off our list. What's next?
I don't
like
know.
what else can we put into the universe? I think it's Cameron. I think it's Cameron Diaz.
I think Cameron Diaz is next. She's the next person we work on.
Yeah,
I also would put J-Lo up there with someone who
oh yes,
we could get
absolutely.
this in motion.
I wonder if Shotgun Wedding. I hope they. I know, but they released it in late 2022.
So maybe it qualifies next year.
I can only hope.
Cross your fingers, everybody.
Or maybe they do like a limited re-release or something in select theaters.
I would love to see this on the big screen. I messed up on that.
In the same way that they did that viral campaign, Gwyneth was really working overtime to get Andrea Riseborough an Oscar nomination.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see a similar grassroots effort to get J-Lo an Academy Award nomination for Shotgun Wedding.
Sure. I would love energy like that around that, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we did a good job. Okay. No one knew. I want to say that no one knew about Jamie Lee Curtis before us. You know what I'm saying? Like
not as an
actress. We brought her back.
More of a personality.
Mm-hmm. My Hand in Yours tumblers.
Yeah, a Tumblr salesperson.
Yeah, we knew her as a salesperson. Activia, tumblers. We knew her as a
children's book author,
Nepo baby. Like
yeah,
we didn't
you guessed. Yeah,
know her the way we know her now.
Outside of movies, which is an interesting way to know an actress.
Mm-hmm.
By trade.
I like both. Like I want to know your home life, and I want to see you on the big screen.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly.
I mean, we often have joked like she's our most covered on the pod, and I don't think it's an accident that she's an Academy Award now.
No, certainly not based on our efforts.
No.
She might feel like it's an accident, but she doesn't know.
No, this is a very carefully orchestrated plan. 2 years in the making.
She's been making the rounds recently, being like, "Oh, I'm so surprised," and I'm sitting here like, surprised.
Girl, have you?
Babe,
we've covered your movies. Girl,
we've been doing the work. And then she was saying during her Oscar speech, she didn't name us individually, but she did say, there are friends who have wanted this for me more than I've wanted it myself.
Yeah.
And that was for us.
That was us. I know. It feels so good.
She's like, and then she said, we want an Oscar. And she shook it at the camera like a rattle.
I told you this before we got on. I feel like I've won an Oscar.
Yeah, me too. And I looked online to find out like where we could get like a real replica. Not like a fake party favor one, like a real.
Like one with girth.
One with girth and weight to it.
Yes, I want the weight. Mm-hmm.
I don't like the plastic ones where you can see the seams where they glued it together.
No, I know, because I could get that on Hollywood Boulevard and it says Best Sister.
Yeah, exactly. But we didn't win an award for Best Sister. We won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
She said it.
She said it. Like I said, I feel like I've won the Oscar the way she's handling it. It's just so cute. It's like, she's like of the people, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I could do it. I can win an Oscar.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that this is an important lesson because what it taught us is that you don't need to be a good actor to win an Academy Award.
Mm-mm.
I think that's one thing that we have been very clear on.
Yeah.
With her acting.
Yeah. I mean, I'd give it to her for Freaky Friday. I would give it to her for Freaky Friday. I think that was
she's
phenomenal.
better. She's definitely better in Freaky Friday. But
Jamie Lee Curtis is that personality actress. She's not the one that like disappears into the role. And it's like I said,
certainly not.
She's not the Meryl Streep. She's like the Amy Poehler. You know, she's just kind of like always gonna do Amy Poehler, but it's like so funny. And I mean, to get serious for a sec, it's just like she's the best Jamie Lee there is.
That's true. That's for sure true. She's the best Jamie Lee.
Yes.
She's the best Jamie Lee. She was definitely the best Jamie Lee nominated this year. So that was
this year. I know.
Hard to argue with that statistic.
I was dying the night of the Academy Awards. You're like texting me and you're like, this is our fault.
This is our fault. Because I know there was some pushback. You know, it was a little controversial, her win. So it was, ready for the keyboard warriors to come after us.
Keyboard warriors. That's good.
That's what they say on Love is Blind, at least.
Yeah. It was a light year. Like, it was a light year. So Jamie Lee, good for you, babe. We would like to take responsibility for your Academy Award. So
yeah, especially during Women's History Month, we want to take
my God, WHM
away,
baby.
Take that away from you, her,
and give it
put it into our
mostly to Steven and a little bit to me for helping.
Yeah, I'm trying to think why we even started with her, and I know it was. I know it was Halloween, but I don't even know why we did that movie.
I think we thought it would be like a gimmicky grab for our podcast. Like, let's do something that's just released. Oh, no, but it hadn't been just released. The second one was coming out. Kills.
Yeah, we were doing it with Kills. And I think it was because we really just wanted to watch a movie where Kyle Richards was in the movie. And boy, did that suck us in.
Boy, did that. I would nominate her for Best Supporting, by the way.
Oh, for sure, in Halloween Kills.
She's great. I hope she got more opportunities from those movies because she's really good. Kyle, if you're listening, we have an idea.
She could be in...
We need to write Girl Boss Island, remember?
Girl Boss Island. But then I did think that this movie, Shotgun Wedding, did make me think, like, if I ever am involved with a movie or making a movie, it just reminded me that there needs to be guns in the movie.
I was going to say, let's start right there.
The movie is There Will Be Guns.
You know, play on quick wedding. It's a shotgun wedding. It's fast.
Right.
And
Pregnancy.
That's what I thought. She's pregnant.
She's pregnant
at
and we're getting married.
55, out of wedlock. And I'm an idiot. And I'm like, shotgun wedding. Wow. They should have called this movie Machine Gun Wedding.
Just listed a bunch of weapons separated by commas.
Wedding. Explosive wedding.
Explosive wedding, because when the movie starts, Shotgun Wedding, in the title sequence, like before you even see anyone, you hear a gun go off, and I was like, "Oh, this is we're in for a treat." And it's not a pregnancy movie. It's just.
It took me a while to let go of that. I really had to let go of the idea that it wasn't just a quick wedding.
Right, because when it starts, I'm looking. So when the movie opens, we learn that it's the rehearsal dinner the night before a wedding.
Is for the way you look at me. And I said, oh shit, it's the Parent Trap song, baby. This means real love.
Real love.
This is real.
And I thought, and this is why I bet I missed a lot of details in the opening scene, because I was tracking Jennifer Lopez. I was like,
and that yellow dress.
Not for her beauty, but because I was wondering if she was drinking. Because if she's not drinking, then she's pregnant. Because again, I'm thinking this is a pregnancy movie. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah.
I think she has a drink within the first 45 seconds.
She tosses something back. Oh my God, and that's the quote. The guy goes, someone just left that in the bathroom. And she tosses it back.
Oh yeah, and she drinks it.
It's so good.
I agree. Like from the opening shot, Jennifer Lopez looks amazing in this movie.
So good. So tan. That yellow dress. I can't stop staring at her shoulders, her arms. I'm like, how do I get that body?
Tracy
How?
Anderson. She does Tracy Anderson.
I am so
And I don't know
tired
if you
of
saw that
Tracy
viral
Anderson.
hit piece about Tracy Anderson that was making the rounds a week or two ago about how her gyms have mold, but I can agree. I can
Liars.
attest they don't have it.
I will say,
At
side
least
note,
3 years ago when I went, they
Gwyneth
didn't have it.
Paltrow is all over my TikTok for you about
Oh
her.
my God! Everyone's having a field day with these
Yes.
clips. Enough.
Yeah, because she
Enough.
loves it. She loves an IV when she can get it.
She loves an IV. She likes a soup for lunch. Like, okay, enough.
And she's like, I do my Tracy Anderson. It's so
My
good.
Tracy Anderson.
My
I
Tracy
love the
Anderson.
possessive pronoun.
I thought about you during that. Guys at home, Steven loves Tracy Anderson method.
I love Tracy Anderson. I love Gwyneth. I think that there's nothing wrong with having soup for lunch and a light breakfast. Okay, I don't want to
And
spike my blood
no
sugar
dinner.
either.
There's
She's
nothing
right
wrong
though.
with it.
When you spike your blood sugar in the morning, it does throw you off. So
Yeah.
I don't think that she's making anything too crazy of a statement. And I think the lighting was bad. I think I think she looked a little
looks
washed out.
Like in the words of Jamie Lee Curtis, the crypt keeper.
Yeah. Listen, we have to concede where we have to concede. It wasn't a great lighting.
I didn't mean for this to be a hit on Gwen.
On a hit on Gwen.
Hit on Gwen. Back to the movie.
I think Gwyneth needs a movie like this too,
Yeah.
where she can really let loose with some weapons.
Well, I think we have a part for her on Girl Boss Island, right?
Girl Boss Island.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be her versus...
And if you think you know the plot, you don't know it.
I know. Do I want to reveal who her like main
No.
foil is going to be? Okay, never mind. We're not talking about it.
Yeah, no. They're gonna take our idea.
Okay, yeah. We have some shady listeners out there.
I will say though that of course Jennifer Lopez looks so beautiful in the movie. In literally every frame. The only frame she didn't look beautiful, and this was the first LOL of the movie, is when her mom sets up this idea that even though they're on this remote, beautiful island, it's a cheap wedding. They went for the cheapest island they could find in the Philippines.
because they didn't use daddy's money and they wanted to pay for it themselves.
Yeah, so they went cheap and flew everyone to a remote island. And then
Cheap.
as a way to really nail in that it's a cheap wedding, this was when I knew we were in for a treat. The mom holds up the napkin with the printed faces.
She goes, "This is what you paid for?"
And it's a smudged picture of Jennifer Lopez on the napkin with the
Yes.
guy, and she's like, "It was a printing error."
That was a printing error. I want to say this is a DIY wedding. This isn't cheap. It's our groom
is.
in a gender bending role is going to
total gender bend.
total groomzilla. Your groomzilla over here. He's Etsying, not Etsying.
So progressive.
He's Pinteresting.
No, he was Etsying.
He was Etsying, but he was also
But you're right.
Pinteresting the wedding. Because when we meet him, he's on the dock decking out a boat in a just married, like DIY little effort. And I'm like,
Yeah.
ew, that's ugly. And
Well,
it's
what
like,
I loved it.
yes,
Go ahead.
continue.
I was just saying what I loved about that scene when he was doing the just married thing on the boat was that like they didn't even bother lighting the scene.
They
could
didn't. It was
barely-
pitch black.
It was pitch
Couldn't even
black.
see it. I was like, ew.
Couldn't even see it, which I did. It made me laugh. But I think this movie is definitely it's definitely a warning against using sites, I think, like The Knot or using those wedding websites, because it really, the whole reason all this happens is because they have a wedding website with all the information publicly available.
So everyone can see.
That's how the pirates, and I mean, we don't have any other word to call them, because that's what they.
I know. I was like, those aren't the pirates I know.
Yeah.
Where's your pat?
They were
eye patch?
actually very scary.
They were
Those
so scary.
Those masks were very scary. Because the pirates used their wedding website to figure out all the details.
I mean, and also her ex, but
I know, but that doesn't come until later, which I was genuinely surprised.
that was insanity. That was insane. Okay, so this movie, we were talking about before how we don't feel like it deserves the bashing it got online, because this movie's very good and very funny.
Oh, very funny.
But it requires a specific amount of like belief suspension. Like you just have to saddle up to a movie where Lenny Kravitz is the bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, that part sort of works. I think the first hurdle you have to jump is that they are acting like Jennifer Lopez and what's the guy's name? Josh Duhamel?
Josh Duhamel, yeah.
are in their 30s because
they kind of look great, but yeah,
they
they're
do.
acting young.
They're acting young. They're acting like they're in their 30s because they're sort of implying that they've been dating. Jennifer Lopez has had essentially one boyfriend before this when she was in the Peace Corps, which you would do when you're 20. And then she dated this guy. And all we know about him is that he is still playing baseball professionally, although he might be at the tail end of his career. So maybe he's 35 max.
Yeah, I was really wondering where they were trying to place them age-wise. With J-Lo, you could always go a decade younger. Like, she could have easily been 40.
Oh, always chop off 10 to start.
And she's producer, so you know her character is like, what's her character's name? I don't even remember. Oh, Darcy, 35
Darcy,
lawyer.
That's right.
I wanted to talk to you about how we always say J-Lo is trying on different jobs in her movies. She didn't really have a job.
What is her job?
She didn't have a job in this movie. Assassin, maybe.
She doesn't have a job. She didn't work at her dad's company, I don't think.
No, so I think that this is like the beginning.
She's unemployed.
I think this is the beginning of a new era of J-Lo. I think that in her movies thus far, like from here on out now, we're just going to get, different characters that she's always wanted to try on, But she doesn't have a job.
Because they do make a point essentially of saying that the guy is unemployed, right? Like he doesn't really
seasons. The draft or whatever.
So, wow, this is the first movie where Jennifer is unemployed.
Yeah, I think she definitely has a job because they paid for this wedding. They're just
she's close to retirement.
She literally is. They're just unclear about what it is, but
right, because they definitely have money to pay for this wedding. They just don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Let me just say this. When you watch the movie, you're not concerned with Jennifer Lopez's career. That's not a concern that you have.
15 minutes in, that's irrelevant information because we have a bigger problem.
We have a bigger problem, and that's we're going through the rehearsal dinner, and it becomes very clear that Jennifer Lopez and Josh Duhamel.
I say Jamel, but I mean, I think it's just pronunciation.
I don't know.
Duhamel.
They come from different sides of the tracks. And she has money and he doesn't. And his parents are a little bit more fun, a little more loose.
A little down home. Love them. It's Jennifer Coolidge, worth noting. Go watch this movie.
Jennifer Coolidge in a really scene-stealing role.
So funny.
Who is there, and she just holds the movie together and really helps everybody relax, especially as the movie progresses and they're under really difficult circumstances.
As an audience member, I'm relaxed when she's speaking. I'm like, yes, she's got it.
Yeah. And I did love that the movie jumped right in to the wedding. Like we're not building up to the wedding. We're not planning the wedding. We're at the rehearsal dinner and we know that the wedding is the next day.
Yeah, it was really quick to the point where I was like, where is this going? Because the wedding's going to happen and like we're not going to have any movie left.
Right. We're not going to have a movie left, but we do know that trouble is on the horizon because within the first 15 minutes we keep seeing all these flyers posted everywhere that says warning pirates.
I literally, in the first 10 seconds of the movie, I wrote pirates ? What?
Yeah, because I guess I definitely didn't know the plot of the wedding. I knew that there was going to be fighting at the wedding, but I didn't know how the fighting was going to start.
I went in blind, and I'm so happy I did. This is a surprise.
So for it to be pirates was a real surprise.
Yeah. The only other thing worth noting at the rehearsal dinner is her ex flies in. Her ex, Sean, Lenny Kravitz, gets flown in, and the explanation given is dad's a messy bitch and wanted him there.
Yeah, some of the most canned cringe lines are in the rehearsal section.
Yeah.
It's a lot of setting up the plot, I guess. But I will say that the whole rehearsal section is kind of slow, but they're definitely just taking an effort to introduce everybody's character and do it in a one-line sentence to explain to you who they are.
Yeah, yeah. I remember thinking in the first 15 minutes, this is a long scene. And it was
It
like,
was very long.
it was because it
It's
was
like
just,
15
yeah,
minutes.
it was 15 minutes of just rehearsal dinner fodder. And that's why it felt so long because we
Yeah.
just never switched locations. It was just like, go over here, go over there. But yeah, Groomzilla, her groom, Josh Duhamel, it was like DIYing a boat. He shows up for the ceremony. Lenny Kravitz flies in.
Yeah.
Um, and this was almost another Bali movie, I guess.
They almost went to Bali, but they couldn't afford it
Couldn't afford
because it
it.
was,
Mm.
I can't remember the joke he made, but it wasn't that funny. It wasn't that funny. It was
Yeah,
intentionally not funny.
yeah. I don't
Um,
have Bali money.
but they so now we start to see that there's issues between Jennifer Lopez and Josh, Mr. Josh, and
Yeah, uncomfortable. They don't like each other.
I this is where I really actually felt for him because he's like, why did you invite your ex? And she's like, I didn't invite him, my dad did.
It's like your
And
dad said to invite him and you agreed. You invited your
right.
ex.
And like she embraced him warmly. So I really felt for him. That's so embarrassing and so
I know. It is embarrassing.
not
And
right.
just like spur of the moment like that too. No warning.
No warning, and she just like she didn't stand up for him in a way that I really would have wanted to see. So
Yeah.
it's like the rare movie, and this goes through the through line of the movie. This is one of the few movies we've watched where like the male lead I actually found very compelling and very like easy to watch.
I feel like this always happens with us because it's so gendered. I'm like, ew, J-Lo, dump him. He's such a loser.
Well, he's definitely a loser, but there was no like I think because I think this only works because she didn't have a career. Like I kept thinking in my back of my mind, I was like, she has to get married. Like I don't know what she's gonna fall back on, so she needs to
What is
protect
she gonna
herself and
fall
get.
back?
She needs to get married to this man.
I just feel like
So
good job on them, good on them, because it made the ending that much more powerful. But they're acting explicitly like they hate each other, and it was like so hard to watch because I'm like, oh, they're about to get married and they don't even like each other, and they're
yeah,
like
definitely in
fighting
terms of an
and
arc, it works because they have zero chemistry at the
no
beginning.
chemistry at the beginning. I'm like, ew, this is
But I
terrible.
do think I do think it heats up in a way that I appreciated by the end.
No, it
Like,
did. They did a good job. They pulled a good switcheroo on me.
and then I think it does make a little bit more sense because then in the next scene, everyone's like, okay, go to bed. We have a big day tomorrow. And they go back to their rooms. And we find out that from their conversation that essentially the past 5 months have been pretty rocky. Like he's been really busy with the wedding. They haven't been talking as much or interacting. And he's trying to like staple gun some lights onto pineapples
Pineapples.
for the centerpieces, which I thought was really cute. And I did think to myself, like, why don't you know what, J-Lo, like get up and help him.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like so the gender swap of it
Like, what
all.
else would you do? If this was J-Lo doing that and some guy was sitting in the bed, we would be
We'd be
like,
like,
get your
get
ass
up
up.
and help. Yeah, this is
No.
where I do wonder if the gender swap even works. Because I'm like, good, he should be doing that. Good. Like, put some
I know
effort
that's
in.
how it. Well, I think you watch the movie, right? And you go, "Oh my God, you got that hottie in your in your bed, and you're not paying any attention to
Yeah,
her."
you're.
But on the flip side, I'm like, okay, they have a wedding, and they've gotten these people to come all this way. Like the least you can do is deliver a really pretty
Yeah.
centerpiece.
He's busy, J-Lo. Put your pants on. He has stuff to
He's
do.
he's busy, and you know what? 4 hands, like we can get it done in half the time.
I wish he
So if you
said
just
that. I
get
wish he said that. 4 hands, babe. We can get this done in half the time. And then sexy time.
and then sexy time.
Yeah. Because she's like, just come up on this bed, baby. But they were trying to make it like he's not listening to her. She didn't
100%.
want this big wedding. She didn't want
Yeah, like
this.
he sees the wedding more than he sees her, which becomes the narrative.
Yeah. That was well done. I mean, they do it like unfolds really nicely. Like it's tropey in the beginning only to get me
Yeah.
like later on, like you said, I feel like they have way better chemistry towards the end.
They do. And I think this is the one area where I think falling back on these types of tropes works only if you do what this movie does, which is completely like give you a totally different second and third act than you would normally
Yeah.
expect. Like the first act is very typical,
Yes.
I think because the second and third are so wildly different than anything you've ever seen before, I think it works.
For real. Yeah, because once we get into the fun and games of Act 2, it is whoa.
Because and they do try to lighten it up, because when Jennifer Lopez is doing like her sexy time, which is like kind of humorous, I think it's very like gobble gobble turkey time
from Chile.
And then I did laugh when she was like, I guess I'll just get a book to read, and he watches her walk over and he's like, but you can't reach high shelf.
I gotta get it on the highest shelf. Which one do you want? Is it this one? No. I guess that's like their little role play thing.
And then she gets mad at him. And again, I sort of felt for him when he does give up the centerpieces and lays down with her. He's like, wait, I actually do need to have a conversation with you about your ex being here.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's what you're thinking about right now? And I was like, yeah,
yes, that's what he's thinking about right now. Don't gaslight him.
Yeah, like, again, like if it was flipped, it'd be painful.
I couldn't watch it if it was
so
flipped.
painful. Like if yeah, I can't imagine Jennifer Lopez.
This man takes
flipped.
it like a champ, let me just say.
Yeah, he's actually really forgiving, especially the way that they treat his poor parents. Like,
I know.
And then Jennifer Coolidge interrupts, and she's gracious enough to have made another party gift for Lenny Kravitz since he wasn't expected, which was so cute. And then she's like, I just gotta ask, is that body natural, or or is that Pilates?
Is that Pilates? Yes, I loved that line. She is me. Like, she's the audience in the scene being like, yeah, ask what we really want to know right now.
Yeah, but I love that line because when she set it up, I was like, oh God, they're going to go for they're going to say like surgery. And I'm like, it's not funny. So when she said Pilates, it did make me laugh.
It's a good joke. It's like, for as 2007 as this movie's plot is, it's progressive in other ways.
Yeah,
with the Groomzilla.
Very progressive.
It's progressive. I mean, as progressive as a movie can be, where guns are the main driving factor.
Very WHM, I would say. It's a big WHM movie.
Big WHM movie. Do you know what we did last year for WHM?
The 355.
Bingo. Another lady movie with a lot of guns, baby.
Couldn't remember the numbers. That was pretty good
365. I loved our episode on the 355. It's one of my favorites ever.
That was a good one.
When
I would never
spills
not think...
the coffee.
Oh, you mean Diane Kruger spills the coffee on Jessica Chastain.
Ow.
Jesus Christ.
I will never not think that's funny.
No reaction to boiling coffee being spilled on your thigh.
I could only imagine maybe the French don't take their lattes very hot. It's probably
that must be it.
Lukewarm.
But okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because one thing that I really appreciated about this movie is they really leaned into the fact that like a lot of these things that these characters were experiencing were very painful. Like a
lot of pain.
A lot of pain, and I really loved how they really leaned into that and like always showed the characters being like, ow.
I wrote down, this is the bloodiest J-Lo movie I've ever
seen. Lot of blood.
So much blood in this movie.
So much blood.
And she passes out when she sees blood, which is unfortunate. It's intense.
But it did give me some good physical humor from Jennifer Lopez.
She nailed it. She had some really good timing and really good physical comedy.
Yeah, I agree. But okay, so it's the night before. There's a lot of tension, and Jennifer Coolidge is like, yo, you guys need to split up. You can't be together. Yeah. That's bad luck.
Does she give them the wedding gift, the something borrowed, the rusty knife?
If it's not this scene, it already happened.
She does, but yeah.
But you're right. She gives them a rusty cake.
The physical comedy in that, when they just pan and it's like rusted over, I died.
It was
Rust
really
is
funny.
toxic.
Rust is toxic.
And she's like, you're going to use this tomorrow. Your wedding.
I actually thought it was really cute. Like, that's a really nice gesture. Like an ancestral cake slicer.
No, it is really cute, but you're going to kill your...
Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. It's absolutely gross.
I mean, it's disgusting,
but it's really cute. So then it's like the next day, and everyone's getting ready for the wedding, and there's this really gorgeous shot of Jennifer Lopez and Mr. Josh on like a waterfall side balcony, and he thinks that Jennifer Lopez is calling him there to call off the wedding.
Yeah.
And this starts the whole chain reaction, which I actually really like this couples fight, because this is what happens when couples fight, where you go in with an expectation.
Yes.
Somebody says something that you didn't expect.
Yes.
And then you're not offended by what they say, like the content. You're just offended they didn't say what you expected, and then you just like ping pong reactions off each other.
Yeah, no, I felt like this was a really good
It
fight.
felt very real.
Yeah, because he thinks she's going to go call off the wedding, and she's there to be like, I hate this dress and I hate all this hair on my head, and this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah. I think she's doing something. She's like trying to do something very healthy. She's like, listen, we need to reset our energy for today.
Yeah, I don't want to
like,
go through today with how we ended last night.
But then once she finds out that that he thought she was going to call off the wedding, she's offended.
Wait,
which
what?
is classic couple fight, where it's like, wait, I'm offended you even thought that.
It's that expectation of what you thought was going to happen versus what did. Oh my God, you're right.
And then they both start amping it up, where he's like, well, I'm offended that you're offended at getting that, like, I thought you would want to call off the wedding given your behavior. And she's like, anyway, it goes back and forth, and it culminates in Jennifer Lopez taking her ring off and chucking it at him.
And he...
Oh, no. She slaps him first. Which, again, gender's reversed.
Makes it a little...
Would have been tough.
Yeah.
And he's like, you scratched me with your ring when you slapped me. And then she's like, don't worry, I'll never do that again. Which seems like a nice promise, but what she actually means is she takes the ring off and she throws it.
I know. And Mr. Miyagi, catches it. Thank God.
It was very good catch.
It was a great catch. And thank God, because they needed it later. Came back around.
They did need it later, which... everything comes back in the movie, which I actually did appreciate as well.
This is tightly
written. It's
like
a Seinfeld episode.
This movie is really tightly written. It is like a Seinfeld episode. That's really good. Yes. Like everything built in the first 10 seconds, the pirate signs, Groomzilla, like all of it comes back.
Pirate signs, like
the
everything from the cake slicer, the name tags, everything comes back.
All his DIY-ness like didn't go for nothing. Even the boat, his Pinterest boat comes back.
Yeah, exactly. Which I because I think that's one of the complaints, like, we've said so many times in some of these other movies, is like, oh, thought this was important, never comes back.
Yeah.
Everything in this movie comes back.
This is tightly written. I'm very happy with this movie. It does not deserve the rating that it has.
No, it doesn't. It's a conservative 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Conservative.
It should be. I'm thinking like Toy Story 3, like 100 reviews, all at 100%.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think the movie should be.
That's what it should be.
It's the new Toy Story. So then they're getting ready for the wedding, but all the guests are filing in, and Jennifer Lopez and Mr. Josh are not there. Mm-hmm. And everyone's starting to get concerned, to the point that Jennifer Coolidge suggests check every ditch.
Check every ditch. I don't really do an impression, but I'm gonna try.
And Jennifer Lopez's mom, which I thought was funny, she's like, and why would you think they're in a ditch?
Renata.
She was good. The hotel staff are like, oh, we'll find them, don't worry.
Yeah.
But by the time the hotel staff are gone, we're getting these cut scenes where, again, to use the language in the movie, these pirates who are wearing very creepy masks, like I said before, are looking at their wedding website, and they're like, moving in,
baby.
Moving in.
Yeah.
Still a little bit unclear why the pirates are going, but they'll announce their motives later.
We'll get it later. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think at this point, the pirates start ambushing the beach, right?
Yeah. They storm the beach.
Yeah. I'm like, where are we? Okay.
They're like firing warning shots in the air. They shoot somebody like in the foot as they try to run off. And I was writing down, like, as they were shepherding them out, I'm catching myself crying, laughing. Like, it's so funny to me, the physical, like, just watching them, like you so rarely see this many guns being shooted at people in a movie like this, like in a comedy, no less. Like, There were so many guns being fired off at these people.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Well, that's why I keep making the joke that it feels very like early 2000s, because remember the butt of the joke is like an explosive device is very like late 90s, 2000s, 80s.
The bomb,
Bring out a gun
miscongeniality
in
all
the
over
office.
again.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Don't come here. I have a bomb in my hand. Ha ha ha. Hilarious. And that's what this
Big
was.
joke.
This was like an homage. I'm going to call it an homage. I'm going to call it an homage to early 2000s films where it's like you're screaming with laughter, but you could die at any point.
You could die. And it's one of those things where I'm like, wow, it really does. It's kind of like when you overexpose it, then you start to realize, like, you don't need guns to do all this. You know, a knife will do.
I mean, a machine gun pointed at that pool with all the wedding guests. You need
Funny.
They have nowhere to go. I kept wondering.
Okay, that made me laugh.
I kept wondering why are we filing them in the pool, and then I was like, I guess it's like a nice spot to wrangle people, right? Like an enclosed area. No.
Well, I agree, but I think it also, to me, it worked as a scene because the movie, like we're saying, has so many guns and so much violence that they have to lighten it. So like I guess the only funny thing to do is to make all these people spend the whole day in a swimming pool.
And I remember thinking, I hope it's heated.
I did too.
Because I would get the chills. I'd be like, ugh.
Because I was like, it was humorous that they were all in the pool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they were just sitting in a room, it wouldn't work.
Not funny. Like, not visually funny. Pleasing and not funny. I guess
it does give you some height, right? Like you always want to be on the higher ground if you have a gun. So I guess you want to be looking down at them
like
in
the gun's
pool.
pointing down at them. They file them into the pool. And then one of my favorite sequences ever in the whole movie comes up where the main pirate starts to use the name tags.
Oh, so good.
And he goes, "Who's Robert?" And it's dead silent because you're like, don't answer. And Jennifer Coolidge goes, "Robert, they're calling you." She points at him. He goes, "Thanks, Carol." Whatever her name is, Kathy, Carol.
Yeah, I think it's Carol.
Thanks, Carol.
Robert.
And then I was like, what could the pirates possibly want to do with this? But they staple the name tags to everybody, so they have their name, which I'm like, why? Who cares? But it was funny.
Yeah, it's definitely like, number one, I appreciated it because number one, it's a good bit to get to recycle the name tags again.
So
number
funny.
two, I guess it's the only way to identify the person they're actually looking for, which was Robert.
He was the first guy they called.
Was the first guy they called. So like they didn't need to do the rest of the guests, but it was really funny. And then when they get to Jennifer Coolidge, she's like, "Do you mind putting it in the center?"
She was so funny in this.
So funny. So we get a montage of them.
Yeah, they're name tagging everybody, and bride and groom are still unawares. They're still kind of in the aftermath of their fight.
They are. And then the pirates reveal their plan where they're like, "Listen, all we want is a cool 45 million
just a tight
from Robert,
45 from Daddy."
From Daddy, and he's like, "Listen, no, I don't have that money." And they're like, "We looked you up. You have 60 million," which I thought was fair. Like, we're going to leave you with 15 million.
I mean, you can still do just fine on 15,
I think they could have arrived at a smaller number if they negotiated a little bit. But he says, "I'll give it to you if you bring me my daughter."
Yeah, show me my daughter and my future son-in-law are safe.
No, he doesn't say that. Jennifer Coolidge is like, "Wait, and your future son-in-law."
Oh, I remember that. Okay.
So that springs into motion that the pirates now have to go look for Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, and she's doing some really funny physical acting. I think she's come a really long way from her monster-in-law days, let's just say, because she's
loose.
She's loose in this. She's comfortable. It's amazing. She's drinking and just kind of spiraling out in the aftermath of like losing her wedding, and she's like, "I'm having a liquid lunch," and
eating Lay's. It's
funny. She does a good job.
Yeah. It's actually, I'm glad you brought up Monster-in-Law because she was kind of stiff in Monster-in-Law.
She didn't know how to let loose.
This movie, she is totally relaxed in a way that puts the audience at ease. Like, you never get the sense that J-Lo feels like she's better than the movie.
Yeah, and she's not I don't feel like uncomfortable for her. She's making me feel at ease.
She's having fun. and we
Yes.
can have fun. And I really think it helps the movie work, because if you could sense at all that she didn't want to be there, like she was there for a paycheck,
Yeah.
the movie would be really tough.
It's spot on. She's really good. I'm comfortable, and I guess I can only attribute it to her age, and it's her production company, right?
Oh, for sure.
She's like found and,
She's involved in it,
yeah.
and but it was just like so refreshing to see her like having fun like that.
It was great. It was so funny. I didn't want it to end, but in the next breath, the pirates are coming, and you're like, shut the fuck up. As Josh Jamel is like trying to get into her room and tell her to stop. And she's like,
Yeah,
how dare you tell me to stop? I'm like in mourning.
She's like telling me to stop talking. That's what you're doing
Really,
right now?
that's what we're doing right now? And he's like, shut up.
So he like tells her the story about the pirates. She obviously doesn't believe him. He shows her the pirate outside with a machine gun.
Yeah.
And then they have to decide with a plan about how they're going to take down the pirate.
I loved the plan.
Oh my God, so funny. So they decide that they're going to turn on the shower and they're going to lure him into the shower. And his idea is just to wrap a sheet, like a mosquito net over his head.
Do you know how hard it is to get out of a net? I'm like, it seems really easy. It's very thin. Her red idea, gender bendy. No, this isn't gender bendy. This is gender spot on. Is to spray him in the face with some hairspray. And I'm like, ow, ouch.
And then he adds on to it by saying, oh, and then I'll light a match. Flamethrower. And she's like, and then this repeats throughout the movie, which I think is good feedback for a partner, but it didn't seem like he was really getting carried away with this. She's like, too many steps. You always want to have too many steps with your plans. And he's like, two steps.
Just two.
Two.
Yeah.
Spray and I light it.
I liked it. It was character. It was like, I can see this man doing too many steps for everything. Dinner, the movies.
Yeah. But it helped, to your point, it helped give us some sense of why she might have been frustrated with him.
It was great.
And then he gets defensive and he's like, fine, we'll just do the sheet. And she's like, you know what goes through sheets? Bullets.
I know. And then the plan very comically doesn't really work out. I could have maybe guessed that was going to happen because the bad guy comes in, excuse me.
Yeah.
They wrap him in the net and then he bends down and J-Lo gets Josh Jamel in the face with the hairspray.
It was one of those things where like I knew it was coming,
yeah.
right? Like, but for whatever reason, just the image of like this pirate with this like scary face mask in the shower, her in the wedding dress, the mosquito net, it all worked. I was laughing.
This is Lucille Ball reincarnated.
And what really made me laugh is that, okay, once he gets sprayed in the face, he backs off, and now Jennifer Lopez is staring face to face with the pirate. She tries to spray him.
Yeah.
He like it doesn't affect him, and he like swats the hairspray out of her hand, and he like lunges for her, and she goes, "Never mind." It made me laugh so hard when she's like, never mind.
It was well done. And then we get the kicker of the button on the joke where Josh Jamel goes, hairspray is so much worse than a net. And you're like,
yeah,
duh, bitch. Because one is blinding you and the other one is a piece of cloth.
Yeah. But this kind of was, again, where, and I felt this way throughout the whole movie. Like I was constantly, the scenes were unraveling in a way that I didn't expect. Like I really thought that they were going to have their way with this pirate. Yeah. As like a funny first step, but like no, they're like instantly defeated in 10 seconds.
Yeah, they get
and
hogtied.
Hogtied.
Zip-tied. I said hogtied. Close enough. They get zip-tied and taken in the back of a vehicle very quickly. And she's in this poofy dress. I want to say I loved that dress on her. It was really stunning. I didn't care about it at all. It was supposed to be like ugly or something.
It was supposed to be ugly, but what's funny is that when they first show her getting ready, I had no idea that it was supposed to be an ugly dress because it was really pretty and very flattering on her.
It was gorgeous.
It wasn't until like she made this big stink face about like how she was wearing Jennifer Coolidge's old wedding dress that I guess we were supposed to learn that it's actually an ugly wedding dress.
Yeah. And Jennifer Coolidge murdered me in that scene because Jen Coolidge has worn it. Jennifer's, I guess, daughter or daughter-in-law has worn it. And J-Lo comes out and she goes, wow, you look better than all of us. Which is another audience move. It's like, yes, of course she does look better than all of you.
Yeah.
But okay, that was a quick side note. They're in the back of like the pirate vehicle and they're like
You
wrapped.
mean a golf cart?
Pirate vehicle. It's a pirate vehicle. I think there's a skull and crossbones on the vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a flag blazing in the wind.
Blazing in the wind. Now, as you said, they're hogtied, but they're also hogtied to the
vehicle.
to the vehicle. We'll use the word.
To the pirate ship.
They're hogtied to the pirate ship on wheels.
Yes.
And I guess they're going to drive, well, not I guess. Obviously, they're going to drive them to the leader at the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
But now we're in the fun and games of it all, which is my favorite part of all the movies. And J-Lo has
fun and game section.
It is a long fun and game section, but
it's like an hour.
J-Lo has a very funny idea to bum a cigarette.
So funny. Yeah. Because Jennifer Lopez remembers, like, oh, I already have sprayed him with hairspray, so he's primed.
Yeah.
He's primed for...
He's flammable.
And she
everything in this movie comes back around. Comes back around.
Which, honestly, I forgot. So, like...
I forgot, too, so I was like, why did his head just blow out? But still.
Yeah, it took me a minute to realize, but... Yeah. She asked for a cigarette as like her swan song for her life.
Mm-hmm.
And they oblige.
Yeah, like just give her this cigarette. Maybe she'll shut up. Maybe this babe will shut up.
Yeah, this woman. Get this woman to shut it.
Yeah.
So they give her a cigarette, and no sooner does she light it that she moves her neck forward and puts the hot end on the guy's head.
Very
and it
funny.
Instantly lights up.
Yeah, he's ablaze. And then they kick him out of the golf cart really easily because he's on fire.
Yeah, he's on fire, and now they're celebrating their win because they're the only two left in the golf cart. The golf cart is still running.
Wait, why did that take so long?
I was like, is that it? Yeah, it's still running, and they're hurtling towards a cliff.
Yeah, so scary. So scary. I would be so afraid for my life. I was so afraid for them, genuinely. There were machine guns in and around their faces at all times, and I was more scared that they were going to go off a cliff.
This was the closest they actually come to death, for
How
sure.
scared are you to be zip tied to a vehicle as it's about to plunge into some water? You're going to drown.
I'm terrified. That
is so scary.
I'm terrified just thinking about it.
I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, I hope they get it. I can't wait to see
how they get out. And they're really close to the edge.
I know. So what do? They like manage to get the pole.
He like shoves his foot like through, or is it a pole?
They're like tied to like the golf cart, like a pole, and then don't they rip the pole out, and then they're able to slide off the pole and like roll out. Thank God.
Yeah, exactly.
Right before the cart makes its way into the water. And then and then as a little extra funny, her dress is caught in the car.
Yeah, a first tatter.
For our first fun, like little snafu in the fun and games section.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Is her dress is caught in the car and
snafu.
How do I say it?
Snafu. The first snafu is that her wedding dress is caught. You're right. That's the first.
And Josh Duhamel is like holding on to her, and she's like, "Don't let go, don't let go." And in my mind, I'm like, surely the dress will rip, right? And she'll be fine. And then the other part of me is like, is she about to get sucked into some water? Like, it was scary. Yeah. There was real peril. I liked this.
They definitely suggest for a few seconds that the dress is stronger than the golf cart.
I know.
So,
at least for just a second or two, you're sweating it out. But
it does give way, and it rips off her dress a little bit, not the whole thing.
In a chic way.
Kind of just the undercarriage portion. Yeah. So now it's more slimmed out, which is more flattering.
Yeah, she's starting to look herself like a lady pirate.
Yeah. One thing that I really loved about this movie is that they could have gone for the quick fix since they're still hog-tied together. Mm-hmm. They leave them joined up for a very long time, which I appreciated.
And it's like watching them get out of that is funny in and of
so
itself. So
funny.
They didn't like show them like in the next scene like beating it with a rock and then all of a sudden they're free.
They could have engineered a plot point to get them separated, but they kept their wrists, all four wrists linked together.
Yeah, that had to be tough.
For a long time.
Yeah.
But then they are walking through the jungle after they've escaped, and they hear gunshots. Mm-hmm. And they see the guy shooting at them. And then, unfortunately for that guy, he's exhausted all of his bullets, and they notice that.
At this point, I wrote down, "Holy shit! Did I ever think there would be a dead man in a J-Lo movie, let alone the body count in this movie is like 20.
High.
It's a high body count.
They
They've already
Red Rover
killed
him.
one man. They've already killed the golf cart guy.
No. Remember, he comes back.
Okay. So they thought that they killed golf cart man.
They thought that they left that scene thinking he was dead, but they like Red Rover him and they knock him unconscious, and then
on a rock.
he's but before they kill him, they look in his hand and he's holding
my
a
favorite
grenade.
My favorite part of the whole movie. He's holding the grenade. My favorite character in the whole movie, the grenade.
Is the grenade. Some of Jennifer Lopez's best line delivery is her interacting with the grenade.
It's amazing. It's so shocking. Also, some more real peril. I'm like, if I was clutching a grenade like that, oh, so scary. I loved this part. I didn't really remember how she got a hold of it. It's like I blinked and all of a sudden she's holding it. And Josh Duhamel's like, babe, hey, don't panic, but also do not let go of that grenade.
I did, before she got it, I did laugh because she asked him very politely. She's like, Sir, can I please have that grenade?
Can I have that? Can I have it? I must have like zoned out at that point. I literally like...
It's really quick.
I look away and I look back. Maybe I was writing a note and she's clutching a grenade. And Josh Duhamel...
I don't know how she ends up with it.
It was kind of like a cutaway, like implying she was going to take it. And then the next scene, she's holding it.
She puts her like stiletto down over his hand. And I guess she like removes it from his hand really quickly.
Okay, yeah. And then that's when Josh Duhamel goes through his whole thing of like, babe, remember when I had a spider on my head and you said pull over first before telling me? Hey, gonna need you to not panic. And I would have fucking freaked out. She handled it so well.
But her first response to him is, how do you know so much about grenades?
What did he say? He goes, video games.
Really charming. Yeah, video games.
I bought that too. I was like, every guy in my life ever knows way too much about grenades from Star Wars Battlefront or whatever you guys play. GTA.
He essentially tells her, like, listen, you have to hold it in your hand as is because I don't think you can throw it far enough.
Which I'm calling bullshit. I'm throwing that thing immediate. I'm throwing it as far as I can.
Yeah, and then when we do see the grenades used, you could throw it pretty far, and they're not like very powerful grenades. Like they definitely destroy what they hit, but it's not like it's blowing up like a 30-foot radius.
No, it's
like
really
she only
small.
had to toss it like 10 feet.
I feel like at the end it blows up right outside the pool where they're all standing or something.
It does, but like the blast radius is really small. Like it's not like a huge grenade.
I mean, okay, the writers needed a way to get her holding on to it, and I was down. I was like, okay. I think I would have liked...
This grenade is part of my life now?
I think I would have liked the plot point better instead of I don't think you can throw it far enough, which I think J-Lo's got an arm on her, let's just say. I think that like the plot point I would have enjoyed more if he was like, let's use it. Like, let's hold on to it and use it for good. You know, like let's make it count, babe. Which they do. But it's really scary. She falls once with it in her hands. It's so scary.
Yeah, he's definitely underselling her athletic ability, but they are then just like trying to work their way back to the wedding guests. Mm-hmm. And as they do that, they are... Is that like they find a zip line?
Yeah.
But is that zip line like part of the resort?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was like an excursion when you go zip lining. And that even comes back later when he's on the parachute and he uses her fake hair. It's just like a really, really great script. I'm probably going to try to find it and read it. Moment of earnesty from Chanel right now.
Moment of earnesty.
Really good. So they zip line.
Because they zip line over to the wedding.
Where they just were.
Where they just were. And exactly. And as they're zip lining over, they see two people below. And that's when J-Lo drops the grenade.
Yeah. Spot on,
with
baby.
more than enough time for it to not explode immediately.
Yeah. So at this rate, J-Lo has now killed people.
The body count is at least 3 because 2 people die on the ground, and then there's the dead guy that they took.
Yeah, there's the rock guy. From. But wait, I think the grenade people also come back because they come back pretty bloody. Whatever. If they're not dead yet, they will be dead later. This is a crazy movie for body
Most
count.
of the pirates are dead by the end.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So they zip line over and then they end up back at the resort and they find Margie, Josh Duhamel's favorite little wedding planner babe.
Oh, yeah.
Margie has a little
cute.
basement bunker. Good for her.
And why do they have a basement bunker?
Because this island is infested with fucking pirates.
It happens every year.
Happens all the time. This is a pattern. Just kidding. It's only happened once.
It happened the year before, but what Jennifer Lopez finds out in this moment is that Josh knew that it happened last year.
Knew about it.
And that's why they offered it at such a discount.
But because he's so fucking cheap.
Yeah.
He went through with
chose
it.
the Pirate Island.
Yeah, and she kept calling it Pirate Island.
And Jennifer Lopez is obviously mad, but they are, because this is now the scene where I think before that, is that when they're in the kitchen?
Oh my God, we missed that last. So then they end up at the kitchen to separate themselves.
Yeah. They're in the kitchen and the only tool that they can think to cut plastic handcuffs is the meat slicer, the deli slicer.
This physical comedy was making me like, I was freaking out. Because every time they're just about to slice it, JLo's like, wait. And then they like move their hands close. She's like, wait. And I'm like, stop, babe, stop. It's so scary.
Well, they keep trying to count it down. And she's like, okay, count it down.
He goes,
and he goes
10, 9.
She's like, what is this, a rocket launch?
Why are you starting from 10? And then
he starts counting from 1.
Yeah.
And he goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And she's like, who goes on 4?
Who goes on 4? I was getting so freaked out by it.
Again, this is another great scene that sets up an expectation and then gives me something totally different. Like, you think the comedy is them like being scared to cut
to do it. Yeah.
To do it. And like, I didn't think to myself, the deli slicer is actually going to go through his hand.
I remember having the thought that we could get a cut right now because they had been building out a pretty bloody movie, which is shocking. It's absolutely shocking. But we already know she hates the sight of blood. She like passes out when she sees it. And they've already killed enough people at this point.
Yeah.
That I'm like, okay, I think we might be getting a bloody sight gag. And boy, was I right.
I was shocked. I screamed when the deli slicer like literally went through his hand and he's screaming. Blood squirts all over Jennifer Lopez.
It was well done. It was like 1, 2, 3, and there's like blood everywhere.
She's screaming for a second and then she faints. He's screaming. But at least they're out of their restraints, which is good.
Yeah. And then he manages to go bandage it up. Then another pirate comes in and comes for JLo, and he helps her with a bandaged hand.
He does. He fights off the other pirate who's like kind of slap fighting him a lot.
Slap fighting.
But he does keep that person off. And once JLo comes to and he's taken down that pirate, then I think they move through the main building there, and that's when they find Margie. The bunker.
Yeah. I have to say, like, this is where I start really coming around to Josh Duhamel's character. I'm like, okay, he's not, a loser. He's a good husband, a good person.
Yeah, and like as they're doing all these conquests, they're having these conversations where it becomes clear that actually both of them were on board for not having a big wedding. Really, like they both would have been fine with it.
It's
and that
families.
This is sort of just like a made up problem that their families created.
Yes, yeah. He's like, that would have killed my mother if we didn't do this, blah blah blah. Which is tale's old as time. I don't want a wedding because I don't want to have to please my freaking family.
It's just too expensive and they're tacky.
Yeah, but, and I famously don't want to kiss anyone in front of my parents.
Oh,
famously, it's like the hill I will die on.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's disgusting. Ew, guys.
Ew. Okay, so that's when we find out that this island is annually infested by pirates, and this is nothing new. But after this, then the pirates come in, and Josh Duhamel decides he's going to take one for the team. And he's like, they know people are here, but they don't know how many. So if I give myself up, you guys will be safe.
Yeah, and worth mentioning only because the screenplay is so tight. He has a walkie-talkie where he can hear the pirates speaking. And that's when Margie reveals that it's not Filipino that they're speaking. They're speaking something else.
So they're not the regular pirates.
Hint, hint, hint. We're not sure who they are yet.
Okay.
But I loved that.
And I'd love to, I hope you can help me understand this. I'd love to understand how in the next scene, when he's taken back to the group, how does he know what he knows?
Okay, oh my God, wait. So, okay, let's go there. So he gets out of the bunker.
Why don't you walk us through the next scene?
I feel like this was
I didn't understand it.
This movie had no business being this clever. Like, I really want to urge you, if you haven't seen it yet, turn off the pod right now.
It is clever. That's why I was like, I must have missed something, because there's no way that it would have gone this way without telling me something.
So, okay. So they're in the pool and they walk Josh Duhamel over and everyone's like, you know, the pirates are like, give up your soon-to-be wife. Like, where is J-Lo? And he's like, I don't know. So they're in the pool and like he gets filed in, groom is stapled to his lapel. And the
that's funny.
I guess Josh Duhamel at this point has an inkling that what they spoke on the walkie-talkie, you know, if it's not Filipino, he's like, what could it be? And they're so close to Bali. So he says the Balinese phrase that Lenny Kravitz's Sean character says in the opening. Because when J-Lo and Sean were in the Peace Corps, they had this phrase that they would say to each other, and it was really offensive, but kind of stupid. It was like, fuck your grandpa or something. So he says...
She's like, it's really hard to explain.
It's really
hard
to
explain. That's not that hard to
It's not that hard to explain. It's a good movie.
It was a really funny bit.
In the pool, Josh Duhamel says the phrase to the guy, and judging on his like really intense reaction, he's like, he understood me. He understood the phrase. So he's like,
Good
okay.
catch, Chanel.
Yeah, so he's like, these pirates are from Bali. They are not from the Philippines.
From the Philippines.
And therefore, he starts to like put two and two together that like they are here because of Sean. And maybe he's stretching at this point. Maybe it's like a reach, but he's proven right.
Okay, so he's making an inference.
I think he was making an inference that they came from Bali and therefore they're probably involved with Sean. And then he starts accusing Sean, and then Sean kind of outs himself. He's like, "You're right."
Okay, and then that makes more sense because then Josh Duhamel's like, "Look, I was right."
I know. So I think he was just making like a really educated guess.
Okay, that makes more sense because I thought I definitely was missing that detail, but I was like, I'm for sure missing a scene where it's like confirmed that he brought those pirates.
This is a movie for geniuses.
That's genius. Yeah,
this is a movie for smarties only. If you're a dum-dum, stay home.
They really show, they don't tell in this movie.
This is a smart movie. It's really smart.
It's a smart movie.
Okay, so where are we?
Well,
we've caught everybody up to speed.
So either before or after that, no, Lenny Kravitz leaves and he goes, oh, I'm going to take this girl with me as a hostage.
Yeah.
And he takes Jennifer Lopez's dad's new young girlfriend with him.
The yoga instructor.
And they leave, and then everyone's still stuck in the pool. Even though Josh Duhamel was right, there's no hope for them because they're still stuck. And then they hear this like pounding on the floor, and they look over, and Jennifer Lopez springs up through the floor with a shotgun.
With a machine gun.
I think that was a shotgun.
Oh, it wasn't the biggie? I don't remember.
Because Jennifer Coolidge gets the machine gun in a moment.
So cool. All I remember is Margie's little bunker does lead to the pool. She says, if you walk this all the way, it leads to the pool.
Yes.
J-Lo springs up. Josh Duhamel's like, oh no. And she comes up, guns ablazing. And it is cool. Yeah. It's really cool.
It's cool. And now she has... Okay, so... But she has a gun here, and she shoots it. I'm trying to understand how she doesn't liberate the forces, because she ends up in the pool as well.
I know. So wait, I have to remember. So I probably should have rewatched this section. Sean and his girlfriend, like Sean and the dad's girlfriend, are an item. They were together, so they're in the helicopter flying to kind of go carry out the plan. And J-Lo's gun plan doesn't really work. Like, she gets disarmed. And she's trapped. Yeah, she gets distracted by something as she's having like a tender conversation with them. And like one of the pirates comes and like
bumps her and takes her gun, and now all of a sudden they're all back in the pool.
Yeah.
Well, because Lenny Kravitz and that girl had to leave because they still didn't know where Jennifer Lopez was at that point, so they were going to take the helicopter and go like look for her.
Yeah, I love how we're working
She was the
this
only
out.
one. She was the only one unaccounted for at that point. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
Yeah, and they're flying.
Okay, so now they're all in the pool.
Yeah, everyone's in the pool. They're flying. I don't really know what Lenny Kravitz is going to go do. I guess he's going to warn the others or tell them what's going down. But he still thinks the plan's going to go out without a hitch. He still thinks Daddy is going to wire him the 45 mil. And Darcy Carden, the girlfriend, kicks some more guys out of the helicopter, so kills more people.
Kills more people, but
So
the people in the pool still don't know that like the girlfriend is in on it, because he just does that as like a distraction, as like, I'm taking a hostage, don't come after me, type of deal.
I think so. Or the dad, I feel like the dad at this point knows she's been unfaithful, but I mean, go watch the movie, guys.
No, because after this is when Jennifer Coolidge's husband, now that they're all in the pool and they can have like a little pool time social hour, he still has his video camera and he says, listen, like I have footage of the two of them as a couple.
Yeah, that's where you're right. Also, wait, when does Jennifer Coolidge try to humanize herself? And they all try to give a little ditty on who they are.
Let's just say it's this scene because it just works, even though I know it's before Jennifer Coolidge gets there.
Yeah, it's before Jennifer Lopez gets there.
We should say that interspliced with all the action are like all these like little scenes in the pool where like the people in the pool are like acting up, which is actually really light. And like, I thought it was such a clever like script technique to have this way to like break up the action with like these instant humorous scenes.
Yeah,
it was very like interesting.
Yeah, and it made you feel like you knew every character when you'd only spent like a moment with each. Like her sister sleeps with the best man and that's all you know about her. And then when they're in the pool sharing a candy and he like takes it away from her, it's just funny. And we barely know anything about them, and that's why. And it's just
like
so
little
funny.
details where like they're getting bored in the pool, so they have them bring like the beach chairs into the pool, so they have something to sit on.
This is where I'm like, this is so funny to have all these guns and grenades because no one's really that scared.
No one's that scared, but like them being guarded while they're sitting on like chaise loungers in the pool with machine guns is funny. But you're right, in the scene before, Jennifer Coolidge is like, listen, I saw on Good Morning America. You need to humanize yourself.
Yeah, she's like, I'm Carol. She starts giving them, and everyone starts bandwagoning and doing it, which is so funny.
It was really cute.
Yeah, and the joke, Rob, they're calling you, that comes back twice, because once with the name tags and once later with the money. They go, who's Rob? Who's the father of the bride?
They're calling you again.
Rob, they're calling you again. Thanks, Carol. It's so good. It's so good.
But now at this point, they're all in the pool, and Jennifer Coolidge's husband has revealed the footage that they're in on it, and now it's all starting to come together, like what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And
the dominoes are falling in just perfect line. It's great.
Yeah. And now becomes like this sequence where it's like, oh, we're learning that Jennifer Lopez and Josh Duhamel are now like in sync because like they just like look at each other and they don't have to say it. And they're like, oh, we want to get married.
Yeah.
Like now's our only chance. And they look at Jennifer Coolidge and they look at everybody, and like everybody sorts of seems to understand that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Without saying it.
She like tells the pirates like, I want to get married, you know, like you can do whatever you want with us, but just like let me get married. I want to have my wedding ceremony.
She's like, I get it. You guys are going to kill us.
Yeah.
But before we die, like, why don't we? And it's really funny. She's like, okay, so if we're going to do it, can we just get the groom side on this
That
side?
was so funny. She's like, groom side on the left, bride side on the right, and everybody moves. And then you cut to that wide, and they're all in a perfect line in the pool.
It's so funny.
Whoever had the pool visual idea, you're a genius. You were so smart.
I'm wondering, like, that's like one of those things where I'm like, you didn't even need to be in the pool,
you
right?
didn't.
Like,
we said this. Yeah, it could have been a room.
You could have wrote the script without it being in the pool, and then like you get to the set and you're like, wait, you know what would be really funny?
The pool.
Is if they're in the pool for the whole movie.
That's why I want to source this script. I want to know if they have written in the script, everyone is filed into the pool. It's just so funny. It's the best visual.
It's so funny, but yeah, you're right. They're in like perfect lines.
Yeah, everyone's like up to their tits in water. It's just so funny.
Yeah, and like And to your point, like it helps us like take a deep breath because like the pirates even let like Josh Duhamel get out of the water and
Yeah.
stand on the ground.
They're both out of the water, and Margie's officiating. Margie's the
Margie's the officiant, and she's going to be walked down the aisle in water by her dad, which is really cute. And that's when Jennifer Coolidge, starts singing.
And
I'll be.
It's so good. What's like the first line? It's like strands in her eyes, color them wonderful, and everyone's like looking around, like, what the fuck is happening? And we, as an audience, are like, what the fuck is happening? And I just thought it was brilliant. It was a brilliant performance because you don't know if she's an idiot who thinks that the moment needs to be scored, or like we need a wedding march, or if she's buying them time.
Yeah, buying them time and creating a distraction, right? Like, or at least it creates the sense, if you're the guards, that this is serious. They're not trying to pull one over on you. They're actually just going to get married.
Yeah, I'll be your crying shoulder. And then everyone in the pool kicks in, and it's wonderful. I love a group number in a movie. I want everybody singing if they can.
Yeah. It's like, with these star vehicles, like we've always said, like what makes them so unique is that there's no conflict. And like with this movie, there obviously there's like a lot of conflict, but there really isn't conflict. Like everybody does get along at this point. Like everybody's getting along.
Well, there's conflict where it needs to be, which is amongst the couple. And that's why that first act is so uncomfortable, because you're like, they hate each other. And this movie gave me what Ticket to Paradise couldn't, which is like that arc. I actually see how this would bring them together. Like I actually in real time saw it, you know?
And what does bring them together before Jennifer Lopez is apprehended when she rescues them. This was a small scene, but it was pretty funny. While she's yielding the shotgun and she's still in a position of power, she keeps swinging it at like people in the pool, and they all are screaming as Jennifer Lopez. Because then she forces her parents to forgive and say like that they approve of Josh Duhamel and that they approve of his parents.
Say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. And she's pointing guns at her own family. That was so funny. To get your family to apologize at gunpoint, to me, is so good.
And then she's like, tell him that you appreciate this wedding.
Yeah,
and
tell him you like what he did.
Like, thank you. This is a really nice spot.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah, this movie just had the really lulls cute. Coming at you from all angles. And good guy, bad guy, everyone's got a gun. Everyone's got a gun.
Yeah, but as they're walking up the aisle, they're looking at each other's eyes, Josh Duhamel and Jennifer Lopez. Then they look at Margie, and Margie's like, she knows what's coming, but she doesn't want to be a part of it. So as soon as they like give her the signal, Margie like runs away, and then they like they run for the guns, and it's a melee.
Yeah, it's like a free for all at this point. Like it's a little bit of chaos, but J-Lo does manage to get a hold of a grenade, right? Is that this point?
That's the first step, is that she holds the grenade, she grabs the grenade, and she delivers the line where she's like, I'm relatively new to grenades, but I know that if the pinny thing is pulled out, and that's gonna explode.
Yeah, and she does like her best assassin work yet. Like she bites the pin out and spits it, and she's like, manhandling a grenade. It's pretty great.
And this causes one of the guys to flee and run away, and he drops his gun, and the other guy, I guess they either like kill or they knock him out and they take his gun.
Yeah, and this is how Jennifer Coolidge gets a gun, right?
Yeah, so Jennifer Coolidge gets the machine gun at this point, and
it's great. She's like, not my family, you bitch. And then she's
the
hero.
Then, so at this point they have there's no pirates left. Everybody's freed. And they're like, go, like, you guys need to get to safety. And Jennifer Coolidge is going to be the escort. And she escorts everybody to safety.
Yeah.
With the machine gun.
They're like, Carol, we got to go. But, like, you got this? And she's like, I got this, girl. She holds down the fort.
Yeah, because they're like, we're going to go to the boat, and we're going to get on a boat, and we're going to go get help. Mm-hmm. And you guys just go to, like, safety.
Yeah.
So they run to the dock, and there's one pirate there, and he's taking selfies, which I thought was kind of funny.
They smack his phone out of his hand. They conquer him really easily. He seemed kind of young.
And then they actually hogtie him to a pole, which was pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, they're suddenly like experts now in how to hold up a hostage.
Yeah,
It's
it was
great.
cute. And like
It's the Just
they
Married boat. It's the
it's a Just
Pinterest
Mary's
boat.
boat, but they have a very artistic shot because his scary mask has fallen onto the dock, and we see them running away through the eyes of the mask. You know, just very artistic, I would say.
Yeah, this director, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
But before they're able to get the boat loose, Lenny Kravitz starts walking down the dock, and he's firing off a handgun at them.
Yeah. But not before we get the, oh, you did this for me? Not before
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Not before that. You're right. Sorry. How could I forget?
How could you fucking forget the Pinterest boat that we didn't get in full lighting in the beginning, but now it's well lit.
And I love moments like this in a movie where it's like your couple has worked out their problems, and it's like you don't have to worry about them anymore, and you can just have like fun.
Yeah.
Like there's no problems anymore with these two. Like we're just in it for fun now.
Yeah, I
Of
wasn't
course, Lenny
worried
Kravitz
anymore.
has to come ruin everything, but
Yeah, so we kind of need our last ditch, like little end of act 3 fake out, I call it. Because there's always like a
yeah,
big action and then there's like an even bigger action sequence. This is an
yeah.
action movie. This is an action movie.
And it's like It's successful in the sense that not that you forgot about Lenny Kravitz, but when he does come
You don't
running
care
down the
about
dock,
him, really.
I was like, oh, Lenny Kravitz is still in the movie.
Forgot.
I forgot. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they jump in their boat and start driving away. He's shooting at them. He just runs after them, runs through a boat, and tries to jump on it, and then he doesn't make it. Is that it?
This is where it gets really muddy for me because I was like kind of just like wrap this up, baby. But
It does come to a really
he's
sharp
on the
conclusion.
boat, and then
Yeah.
it is I think it's one of those touristy boats
Oh, you're
that
right.
has a
you're right.
parasail.
I skipped a whole section.
Yeah, there's like a whole ending sequence, which is cool. Don't forget that girlfriend Darcy Carden is still in the helicopter above.
Oh, I forgot about all this.
And
yeah.
I guess it's a tourist boat, and somehow Josh Duhamel and Lenny Kravitz both get just slingshotted off the back of this boat, which is very funny. Again,
Well, it's funny because
parasail.
as you're watching Jennifer Lopez, she's driving the boat
Yeah.
and she grabs a big lever that looks like it's like going to accelerate the boat to like have him slide off, but it's
it says
actually
brake.
it's the release for the parachute.
Yeah.
And because she has no idea, she hits it and she's still driving, and she turns around and they're
They
like
get
all the way up in
sucked
the air,
back.
and she's like, "Oh."
Yeah. It's like very abrupt. It's like, and then they just shoot off the back, which
It's
I thought
really
was so funny. So now Lenny Kravitz is hanging in the air with Josh Duhamel. Darcy is circling above, not to be confused with the character Darcy, who is J-Lo, by the way. Who is J-Lo? I forget the girlfriend's
But she's
name.
just J-Lo.
She's just J-Lo in my eyes. She's always going to
I
be
have
just
no
J-Lo.
idea what that girlfriend's name is.
Yeah, I have no clue either. So all I know is at this point, comes back around town. Josh Duhamel has a wad of J-Lo's fake hair in his pocket. Because earlier in the movie, she's like, get this off of me, but I don't want to throw it because it's real hair and it was really expensive and I hope to reuse it one day.
Comes back around.
Boom. He's up in the air fighting. He gets the fake hair and zip lines down using the hair.
It's burning up
It's
in his
burning.
hand.
Back to the boat. Lenny Kravitz is in the air, and in our final bloody sight gag, that parachute gets sucked into the propeller of the helicopter. And you just hear
It's
like a
funny.
slice and dice, and then there's blood everywhere, and then they go down. So the bad guys
It's
go
funny.
down.
It's like it's one of those movies where it's like
It's
it's
shocking.
okay. It's okay that they die. We
It's
don't need to
just
take them
fine.
prisoner.
I know, and it was one of those movies too where I'm like, are we gonna get like a post-credit sequence where they walk out of the water? Like, we didn't win today. I didn't stick around for the post-credits, did you?
I watched a little bit. It was just like them at the reception.
Singing,
It was
right?
just But I was like before they die, I'm like, I wonder if we're gonna end up with like Lenny Kravitz and that girl like being chained in the pool, having to watch the whole wedding. I'm like, they're not actually gonna kill them.
I know, right? Like,
And they
were we
do.
just left to believe that they're just dead? They're dead.
They're dead. For sure.
But I will say I didn't make it to the end of the post-credit scene. I wanted to go make a coffee this morning.
Well, it's interesting because Lenny Kravitz and the girl are dead, and then the movie ends honestly in like 45 seconds. Like
Yeah.
they get back to the beach and hug it out,
Mhm.
and then the movie's over. And normally, like these movies, they would have tried to tack on like 20 more minutes
Of a wrap-up.
and of wrap up,
Mhm.
and I love that they didn't.
It was awesome. The messaging was really cool. He's like, "Do you want to start over after all this has gone down?" And she's
Yes.
like,
Oh, I love this line.
she goes, "I don't want to start over. I want to keep going." And then
Yeah, so good.
she gets on her knee. "Will you marry me?" And then very luckily, since he caught it earlier, he's got the ring in his pocket.
So good.
And then she goes, "Still fits."
That was funny.
Imagine she's like, "I'm
it.
swollen. It doesn't fit." Yeah, and then that's it. Then we go to credits, and it's everybody at the reception kind of like dancing it out. And that's where I'm like, I didn't see who was at the reception. I saw Margie singing.
Jennifer Coolidge is singing, and it's really cute. And I just loved that they could have made it a 2-hour movie and given us like a dumb scene where like the parents apologize for real and like they take everything back, and it's like we didn't need it. And I'm so glad they didn't do it.
Yeah, they didn't need it. It was really, really well done. This movie's tight. The screenplay's tight. The direction's good. It's bloody. It's bloody. Be careful. It's really bloody.
Yeah, but I'm like, honestly, if Top Gun can get a Best Picture nominee, like, I don't see a reason why something like Shotgun Wedding shouldn't get an Oscar nomination.
I mean, I'm not here to slander Top Gun Maverick because it's the best thing I've seen last year.
I enjoyed it too.
But I will.
But
I'll put these in the same. I'll put them in the same camp.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll do what you're doing.
They're peers.
They should shake hands.
I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying they're peers.
I feel like if Tom Cruise was in this movie, because there's a little bit of night and day vibe in this.
Oh, a lot of night and day energy, which I think is why we loved it.
You know what? Tom and J-Lo should do a movie together because I want to see what it's like when two people with the same level of like exposure and star power, what happens when we get those two together. And they're of the same generation. They're both in their 50s. Or maybe he's about 60 now. But she's like 53, so they should be together in a movie.
Yeah, she's older than 52, if you remember how you
5'2", what it do? She's 53 now, or maybe 54. Yeah. Tom, give J-Lo a call. If you've got a part for her, give her a call.
Or J-Lo, if you have a part for Tom,
give him a call.
It's Women's History Month. Give him a call.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen if you get two alphas in the kitchen like that, though. They kill each other.
I think it would be really good.
I want to see that.
It could even be a movie where they're adversaries. I'd watch that too.
I love an adversary movie. It's kind of all we do.
Yeah. But honestly, I was so pleasantly surprised by this movie. Like, I had recommended it to you because I just generally wanted to watch it for myself. Mm-hmm. But I, in no way, shape, or form, thought it was going to be as good as it actually was.
Right there with you. Yeah. And we had come off of a string of like not great ones. I tried to get us to watch one like a few weeks ago and it was like, I just had nothing to say. Yeah. So, I'll hand it to you. But I wanted to see this also. I wanted to see this. And I did look online to see if I could get to see it in theaters, but it was already out.
This would be an amazing movie to watch in the movie theaters.
Yeah, I'm pretty sad about it. I don't remember this doing well or getting, like, Marry Me had a ton of hype around it.
Yeah, because it was weird. Like, when Peacock does a better job of, like, promoting movies as, like, seeing them in theaters, since this was, like, an Amazon Prime movie, I feel like there's really no incentive to put it in theaters.
Yeah, I just don't remember this one being as hyped, and I don't even know if it did come to theaters because I would have gone, but I went to Marry Me.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I went to Marry Me opening day.
Smart.
And there was like a guy in the audience, and we just had like this unspoken, he was from Brooklyn, and he was like, "We support our girl." And I was like, that's right.
Well, like we said, if you haven't not watched Shotgun Wedding, please do yourself a favor and watch it. Yeah. It is incredible.
It's really, really, really good. I wanted to ask you if you felt like this was like their biggest budget yet. I'm like, this felt bigger than Marry Me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it felt like J-Lo's biggest movie in a while.
What I agree in the sense that sometimes these like made for streaming movies just feel like they don't have a budget. And this felt like you were watching like a big movie.
Yeah, it felt
like
a
big
blockbuster
movie with a big budget. And I think that it's a shame it didn't like get a full theatrical run because I feel like it's made for the movie theater.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's so funny. It's bloody. It's gory. I wrote slice and dice, baby, at the end.
Well, like we said at the top, our new focus is getting Jennifer Lopez an Academy Award. So this is our first step in that.
I think
next
it's going to
endeavor.
happen. I really think it's going to happen. Our power is unmatched in the industry. People listen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether they know it or not.
Whether they know it or not.
Great.
Anyway, well,
Well.
that's that on that.
Well, I got it.
I got it.
All right. I feel good about that one. Don't forget to catch us on wherever you get podcasts, Apple Pods, Spotify. Please throw us a review. I'm really tired of waking up without one. I say it all the time. And
so tired.
We'll catch you on the next one, okay?
Bye.
All right. Bye, Steven. Bye.